What's up, Grandmaster Igor Smirnov is here, and today I'm happy to present you a new opening variation against the third most played chess opening against e4, the French defense. And this variation is super tricky. I'm gonna share with you games how a strong players over 2700 rated got defeated in 8 moves, which is crazy to think about. Now, as we enter the main line of the French defense that you can see right now on the screen, white advances the pawn, attacks the knight, and the knight goes back here to d7. Now, in this position, normally white plays normal developing moves, fight for the center, etc. But instead, we're gonna play a little weird and highly aggressive move, queen to h5. Now, at first looks like a bit weird move, kind of like you're trying for something like scholar's checkmate. Looks completely uncalled for, and yet it's super tricky and it's much better than it looks at first. So, what's happening here in this variation in most of the cases? Usually, black continues playing their standard moves, which is, in the French defense, the move pawn to c5, attacking white's center, and after white defends it, black continues playing their moves knight to c6. Now, of course, you may be wondering, what if black at some point plays the move pawn g6, hitting the queen? We're going to talk about that in a moment, but for now, let's just focus on the main line and the most played line. Here, strangely enough, this move knight c6 for black is actually already wrong, although it's really kind of mind-boggling how can such a natural developing move be a mistake, and yet it is exactly the case. So at this point, if you ever consider yourself to be a knight person, that is your time to shine, because now you start playing knight g5, hitting this pawn, threatening something like scholar's checkmate. After g6, you drop your queen back, renewing this threat. Black usually goes queen e7, and now the other knight joins the party with the move knight to b5, and somehow this strange knight assault wins the game. What I really love about this variation and why so many strong opponents got defeated that way is because it's kind of hard to believe that this quick attack actually works out for white, and that yet it is the case. So with the move knight to b5, we're creating the threat of knight to c7, forking the king and the rook. It's just a pretty strong threat. In addition to that, we're also threatening knight to d6. Thanks to black's queen standing over here on e7, it blocks out this bishop so that it cannot capture your knight when it stands there, and black is simply defenseless against this dual threat. In most of the cases, they take over here trying to deflect you from your plan, but we're gonna continue with our stuff anyway. We don't care. Knight d6, check to the king. Now black has to move the king. They cannot take here, hoping to recapture your queen later, because instead you're gonna take here with a check to the king, and after that you're gonna pick up the queen, which will just give you a more than enough material advantage to win. So that's not the chance for black. They have to move their king out, and now you continue your knight dance. Knight takes f7, check to the king once again. King has to run to the queen side, and at this point, yes indeed, you have to take one move to take care of your queen because it's been attacked. So we move it over here to c3 in order to, provide safety for the queen, and also just in case to defend this pawn so that black can't capture it. And at this point, black usually starts caring about their rook, which is a rocky error, because after rook to g8, and actually after any other move of black as well, we're gonna go bishop to g5, trapping this queen on a7. Strangely enough, it's trapped, has nowhere to go. Your knights are doing a great job controlling all these squares, and it's time for black to resign. So this is an absolutely crushing variation. And just to give you an idea of how effective this opening variation is, just think about this. We're not going over some strange sideline. We're talking about the most common, most popular moves of black, which leads to this particular position, which we can see right now on the screen. And right now, if I go to the games played in this variation, you can see over here 25, 26, 2700 rated players are casually trapped that way. Now, the second most common variation here is a lot of fun as well. After black goes pawn c5, still you're playing knight to f3 to defend the pawn. In the previous variation, we analyzed that knight to c6 is not really an option because you start this weird knight dance and you win. Alright, so instead of knight going over here to c6, they often take here on d4. Now you recapture, and then they follow with the same move knight to c6, which is still wrong in this position. Once again, it is a losing error. Now, here you take knight takes e6, taking advantage of the pin. Somehow it turned out that this queen played a crucial role in your attack, which nobody expected. Now, from e6, the knight is attacking the queen, and you're winning the game. You're winning the pawn, you're attacking, and black has nothing to oppose against it. Often they play queen to e7. And in this case, yes, of course, you could play a trivial move knight to c7, forking the king and the rook and winning the game that way. But I'd love to ask you to think about this and let this be our puzzle of the day. If you can find a stronger move for white here, write it down in the comments below. You may be wondering, Igor, it's so good, but what if black simply goes pawn g6, kicking this queen away? Does that refute the entire plan? Not really. The move g6, yes indeed, forces your queen to move, but there are obvious downsides of this move as well. It weakens permanently all these dark squares on the king side, and so long term you're gonna attack opponents, castling opponents' king side. Yes, you'll take one move to drop your queen away, but after that in the future, your bishop will be enjoying all these weaknesses of black. And if black goes pawn g6, what I recommend you to do is to play queen g5 and offer an exchange of queens. They usually go for it. If not, no problem, you're ready to attack in the middle game as well. But if they trade queens over here to g5, on the following move, they often commit the next crucial error. They want to fill in these gaps and justify their move pawn g6, so they naturally play bishop g7 trying to encounter their bishop. But that overlooks another annoying move, knight to b5. We already know that it's a common attacking pattern of white here to jump over here, attacking this weakness, and in some variations this weak square on e6. And in this position, it's not completely winning for white, and yet it gives you a very comfortable game and a very annoying position for black. Now, you are threatening knight takes c7, winning the rook in the corner on the next move. The only way to do that for black is to play knight a6, putting the knight here on the edge of the board. And here, yes, after an exchange of queens, you cannot checkmate black right away, but overall, if you just look at the position, if we play some normal move for a while, let's say pawn c3, solidifying your pawn chain, you can see that black's position is really cramped. It's really hard to move around. Like, this knight has nowhere to go, right? It can't go. All the squares are controlled by you. If the black ever tries to push your knight away and play something like pawn c6, or pawn to c5, that also backfires because you will happily bring your knight over here to d6, and it's such a monstrous knight. And black's in trouble. This bishop also is completely dull. Your pawn chain is doing a good job restricting its activity. So overall, it's really difficult for black to move, and you're just going to play very standard moves and have a comfortable advantage here. Let me know what you think about this crazy and super effective opening variation. Of course, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments down below as well. Also, let me remind you that today is the final day to take advantage of our New Year's special offers, where you can enjoy up to 80% discount on all of our premium courses, and a chance to win my super pack, the collection of all of my lifetime's work, for free. A Champion Psychology, my book, for free. Again, if you want to get all these discounts and bonuses, click the link below the video and take advantage of it right now, because it's going to expire tomorrow. In whatever case, wishing you a great day and a great year ahead. Talk soon.